So it brings me to, I'm thinking that I'm going to ask something unusual. I would like a motion that instead of hiring one candidate, that we would hire three. So do I have a motion? So you know it was a joke right off. Unfortunately, we can't do that. So at this time, I'd like to open it up to discussion about our candidates. And let's start out with our first questioner and put her on the spot.
First, I want to thank all the candidates for coming in, being here tonight, and answering all of our questions, especially in this crowd. I know I did this about a little over 6 months ago, and I did not have a room full of people. There was a small crowd, and I didn't have a camera crew either. So thank you so much for your answers and being here tonight. It really takes a lot of bravery for that. To the board for discussion, I think we have three great candidates, and just, they're all uniquely different. Some of them overlap with some of their jobs as well as skill sets. And so I have some personal questions that I thought, stood out more so than others as well, but then they all answered them really well. So I know this was really a hard discussion when you guys had to do this, when speaking of me, because we were trying not to mention names and such. So, but I will go ahead and lead it back to you.
All right. Would you like to go next?
So I want to thank you all for applying and going in front of the camera crew and answering our questions. And I think all three of you did very well. And you are on board with our mission statement that's important to this board. And you, all three of you, it's very important for you to for parental choice, which is important to this board, and to have more than one teaching method in our district to enhance the educational needs of different students. And it's going to be a hard decision, but thank you all for applying and being interested in the children who are, as Meg said, the future generation is our future of America. Thank you.
Sue, that's the one thing that stuck out to me, and I made a note that every candidate wrote about the children first. It was always children-centric, and so, which is really important to me, it's really important to this board.
David.
Thank you. I want to start off by mentioning that the gentlemen who have all applied are doing so because Chris Austin stepped down from the board, and I want to just keep him in mind when we go through this process. Chris Austin is a long-term resident of this community. He was on this board before any of us were elected. He served for many years, and he did it the same way all these fine gentlemen did, by applying, by putting himself out there, and by accepting the responsibility. And we all owed him a lot of thanks. He certainly helped guide us as we got into our public duties, and he always kept us on our toes. And so I look forward to continuing his tradition of being a devoted servant who always, I hope it's fair to say, he always wanted to keep consideration for our schools as a whole, for our students, our teachers, for our staff, and to foster cooperation, dialogue, and mutual respect. And I think he always did it with a servant's heart. So, he's not gone. He's still around. So I hope I don't sound too elegiac. But we thank him, and I just want to keep him in mind as we move forward. And I'll just say that I agree with you, David. I wish we could pick more than one. But we clearly have three fine gentlemen here who have a keen interest in our community schools, and who clearly would accept the public duty and the job at hand with a very seriousness of purpose appropriate to that charge. And so I really just want to thank everybody again. Like we did before several months ago, I don't think it would be appropriate. I don't think it would be classy to say why I would vote for any one over the other, especially when all three of them are such good gentlemen and such fine servants, and being so willing to volunteer. I'll just say that, like I said, I wish we could pick more than one, but my decision ultimately will be guided by the question that guides all of my service here on the school board, which is what can we do to make a child's education better? And that's the number one question we always have. Thank you.
Thank you, David. I still wish I could have got a motion to, because when it comes down to this, when you have such candidates that I like, I don't really like picking one. Some of the things that I was looking for is that experience in leadership, someone who personally, one of the things that I'm looking for is somebody with a moderate approach. And what I mean by that is a tempered approach, that there's a lot of passion surrounding school boards all across the country, and we're no different here than a lot of places. So those are the kind of things that I've been looking for in the character of a person, of a candidate. Everyone was so united in their focusing on education and the foundations of education, so that made it no easier for me either. One thing that I did like that one of the candidates said is that looking for that common history, language, and I added some things to it as well in my head, but finding that commonality of what makes us uniquely a society. I like that. And bringing diversity together. That was something else someone said. I like business experience that people bring, and both raising their kids and having raised their kids here. So I'll tell you guys, you have not made this easy at all. But thank you so much. And David, I'm really glad that you brought up Chris Austin, because he's a good man. I enjoyed meeting with him so many times, and I'm glad he's still here in our community. He's a very good man. So you'll be replacing a great guy. Well, that's all I have to say, other than I'll ask you later what that word meant. Elegiac.
Well, I wanted to sound like I was too sad or something like that. So.
Just wanted clarification. All right. Well, at this time, is anyone prepared to make a motion? Anyone can make a motion.
Picked you last time. It's only fair you have to make a motion.
Okay. I would motion to choose the candidate for the Woodland Park School Board as Mick Bates.
Is there a second for Mick?
Second.
Are there any other candidates to advance? Any other discussion on that?
I think that if we did that, we'd never be able to choose. I think with my thanks and gratitude to everyone, I'm ready to vote on the motion.
Are you ready to vote? We have a first and a second motion. Do we have a second?
Yes.
Roll call.
Illingworth,
Aye.
Kimbrell,
Aye.
Patterson,
Aye.
Rusterholz.
Aye. Well, Mr. Bates, thank you very much.